I want to welcome
Start.
everyone and thank you for joining us this afternoon. I am Sandy Valance from Michigan Works Southeast, and I get to kick off this presentation. I know it's after lunch, and I know it's after following Tracy Brown's Liar, Liar, Pants on Fire. I can't compete with either one of those things, so let's get this started. I want to tell you a little bit about how we got to where we're at this point. So it was about 4 years ago. I actually attended an in-person Michigan Works conference, and I sat through a Jobs for Michigan Graduates presentation. And I brought that back to our organization, and we were thankful enough to get that program and have worked with it since. We started with the out-of-school program and have now added the in-school program. During that, we noticed that the JMG model fits very well with all the programs that we offer. We know that our programs and goal is employment, so we took the end goal, which is employment, and worked backwards, using the model with adapting all education learners to explore, engage, and experience. And it's accessible to all ages from 16 to 26 years old. Next.
I'm getting there. The biggest thing we found with most of our youth is that they really have absolutely no idea of what they truly want to do. They have unrealistic ideas of what any particular job entails, what a day in the life of a particular career looks like, and they hear the usual banter of, well, if you're a sports person and you get picked up for professional sports, you're going to earn this exorbitant amount of money. So it becomes our responsibility to try and get them based a little more into reality. And in order to do that, we really want to give them an idea to explore what their true interests are and find out, what are their likes and dislikes, because many times we find that 16-year-olds especially are still under the influence of what mom and dad tell them or their friends tell them they would be good at, and it may not have anything to really do with what they're truly interested in. So we feel that one of the greatest steps that we can make is actually helping them to explore a particular career. Find out what it's all about. Find out if it adjusts to what they're looking for in terms of income, and is it going to give them the lifestyle that they want. Let's get to reality. If you want to go into healthcare and you don't like blood, that may not be the best thing for you. So let's really dive down into what kinds of things are aligned with your particular interests. And we do that by using primarily two different assessments. One is Journey by Cooter, which is a career assessment that is relatively quick. It gives students a chance to truly learn a little bit about themselves and also to see how you get there, what's involved in becoming whatever you want to be. And also Career One Stop is available to also help refine what one's interest is and help them determine what's going to fill their days, and is it actually going to also take care of all the financial responsibilities and maybe actually bring a little bit of joy into their employment careers rather than just making it a job that they have to do every single day. Again, with these assessments, we're looking at the interest, skills, and values. If we have someone in our programs, we also oversee adult education programs for 3 of our counties. We make sure that when they take these assessments, it becomes an integral part of their academic training as well as a career interest training. We try to make sure that any opportunities for them to go and actually see either the career that they're interested in or related careers in a work environment, they get that opportunity. We also target them for all of our activities, such as Career Quest, Career Con, which we do in one of our counties, and see how we can take and actually align their interest with the opportunities for training that we have available to us through the workforce development system. Vincent, you have anything you want to add on there?
Yeah, so with these two programs that we use, Career One Stop, Career Journey, and we use that as itself as a launching pad as the first few weeks of any program, whether they're with the youth. And currently, as you can probably imagine, I am sitting in one of our schools on location. And so we taught earlier in the day. And we use this as an opportunity to dive in and really evaluate how much money do I need to live outside of my parents' house? Do I need to have roommates? Do I don't need to have roommates? Things of that nature, and the jobs to make it happen. And then out of all those jobs that will provide you with enough money to live the lifestyle you want, which ones would actually fit for you? So that's why I'm going on that first part of really evaluating someone's interests, someone's skill levels that they already have. If they're a senior or a recent graduate and they already know how to put up drywall and they've done some part-time electrical work, then maybe moving into a trade or an apprenticeship program is a proper and efficient thing to do. Meanwhile, if they haven't had that experience, but they're looking towards it, figuring that solution, or like Pam said earlier, if they, like blood and they're like, well, I've been really good and I can patch my buddies up when we're playing baseball, and make sure their raspberries and road rash gets bandaged up, maybe put them in that direction. So this really helps broaden their point of view from really just what they see every day through the lens of social media. And the big portion of our youth, especially, are high risk, and they live in low socioeconomic areas where they don't see a lot of the opportunity that's in their neighborhood. So other than great wealth from influencers through TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, etc., and even local influencers that maybe are influencing but not strictly legal. So having them open their eyes, seeing that there is a legitimate way that reflects their own interest that can support them, is that perfect first step of getting them involved and seeing what opportunity and what pathway they can grow into. So that's what I would add to that.
We have the ability to, by taking and aligning all of our youth programming with the same type of launch sequence, we then are able to best captivate the true interest of the individual and put them through prescribed opportunities. We have a number of activities such as I've mentioned before, the Career Quest. We also developed what we call as the Professional Achievement Scorecard, which is an internal workforce development piece that focuses on soft skill development, or as I like to call it, essential skill development. My internship prep is a youth program that's 4 weeks in length that students meet daily with an instructor and go through the essential skills as well as learning how to put together a portfolio that includes their resume. We talk about all of those skills necessary to actually ascertain their first employment opportunity, how to dress, how to even talk to employers, what kinds of things to look for when they're looking at a job, so that by the end of my internship prep, they are in a position to be able to have written business communications, thank you letters, that type of thing, letters of inquiry, as well as having their resume available, their list of individuals for personal recommendation, and all of the particular coursework or any kind of outside activity work that they've done to show that they have assumed some degree of skill in the area in which they're trying to find employment. And we show them how to put that together and best present it to an employer under an interview situation, and we do mock interviews, as well as we actually have them interview each other, so that students have a tendency, or youth have a tendency, to think that it's always easy to be on the other side of the table. But we want them to actually gain some understanding of how it feels to be the interviewer as well as the interviewee. We have other activities that we also try to match them for. For example, one of our programs that we have is the State Apprenticeship Expansion Grant, which for us in this particular area is concentrating on youth, getting them into pre-apprenticeship programs so that they're totally aligned and ready to go as soon as they are able to assume a full apprenticeship. And we also make sure that all of our youth career advisors are fully aware of what kinds of opportunities are available to the student, and we can match them up with their career advisor and a focus prior to them ever leaving any of our programming.
So how do we offer the youth opportunities to gain experience? As you can see right there on your screen, we do the paid work experiences, on the job training, internships, and you can read the rest of the list, but there's a lot of opportunities there for youth to gain some experience. By allowing the youth to get these experiences, they can either validate what they thought was what they wanted to be when they grew up, right? Or they discover that it absolutely is not. And that's a great thing. We want them to understand very early that, don't put all your eggs in one basket and you want to be in the healthcare, as we have alluded to, but you faint at the sight of blood, right? So they need to rule things out as well as rule things in. A good thing about the pandemic is it gave us the opportunity to look at our youth program and apply the same principles for youth strategies as far as the exploring, engage, experiments that's going to lead to employment. Next.
Sandy, before you move on,
Yep.
We have a question from Aaron Kenny.
Okay.
What types of pre-apprenticeships are offered in your area and by what organizations? And that might be a question for everybody, because I know that that's increased recently, the number of offerings and the variety.
Pam, I'll let you start with that one.
Most of our pre-apprenticeship programs are connected with the Jackson Area Manufacturers Association, which is a professional organization of manufacturing plants, manufacturing concerns. And many of the jobs associated with that are for things such as production line worker. They can start out with, we make sure during their pre-apprenticeship that they start taking things like OSHA 10 so that they can get their certifications, but it could also be expanded to other specific interests in a more specific area versus the general area. But we give them blueprint reading, those types of things to get them started and along the line of what they're going to encompass when they actually are working in a manufacturing concern. We give them introductions to things, CNC machines, some drafting, that type of thing. And it's a specific program that JAMA has put together under their Academy for Manufacturing Careers program. We also have Consumers Energy in the area, which is very active in giving students an exposure to jobs in energy. And they can be a variety of jobs. Consumers Energy has been really very good, fantastic as far as making sure that we don't just think about jobs in energy and things such as line worker or laying cable, but you also have people in accounting and you have people in legal services and that type of thing. So they give them an opportunity to see what training is necessary to go into those and get some specific introductory base courses out of the way through summer programs and through boot camps.
And I can answer the next question, David. Do you try to pay a competitive wage within your paid work experiences? We pay the youth what the employer pays for someone starting off. So we go with what the employer is paying. If it happens to be $13, that's what we'll start them out at. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of companies that pay real well. So it's more in the $10 to $12 range. I hope that answers your question, Aaron.
And I think I would add, even though I'm just the moderator, that oftentimes we're able to demonstrate to the prospective employee the cost benefit of an apprenticeship versus, let's say, even a 2-year degree, potentially a 4-year degree. And demonstrating to them that they wouldn't necessarily have to have that debt. And also, if you look at those vocations that are hurting right now, they pay very well. So they can be getting a paycheck and at the same time learning a skill and not have any debt to service when they are finished with their apprenticeship.
All right, I think you're up, Vincent.
All right. So up on the screen, we're looking at 2 of our innovative Michigan Works programs. And the first one, My Internship Prep, which we have spoken about. Second one is Find Your Future, My Career Quest South. So both of these programs, I'll dive right into it. And as the title says, shaped by the pandemic and designed for youth success. So as we know, 2020 shut things down, and we couldn't just do nothing. And so we didn't. So we adapted, and in a way, it helped us eliminate one of our biggest barriers that the youth face, which is transportation. And because when we opened up a new virtual platform, making it accessible to anyone with technology, it made it possible to reach students and young adults that weren't able to drive due to our rural locations where public transportation is impossible. And then doubling down, we were given grant access and abilities to give technology to people and internet connections so that they could participate. So the barrier that did pop up out of everyone was, of course, technology, but that was a barrier that we were more easily able to overcome versus a transportation issue. So with this, we developed My Internship Prep, which is now a 4-week program. And as we go through the program and we think about a big funnel, I probably should have drew one on the chalkboard. But as you have that funnel, and say at the end, the goal is to have them aligned with an apprenticeship, going into post-secondary, some sort of certificate training. That's the goal at the end of the funnel. The very first thing they hit is going to be that My Internship Prep. It's going to be where they come in, they take these assessments, they learn what interests them, what doesn't interest them. They learn what to say in the workplace. There's a time and a place for such and so behavior, such and so language. The interview questions, being on the side, asking the questions, being on the side, responding to them, along with all sorts of nonverbal communication skills. So that's that very first phase that really sets the groundwork for all the other opportunities, the pre-apprenticeships, the on-the-job trainings, the paid work experiences, because that's how they'll be successful, and we can recommend them to employers as long as they have that ground foundation of how to behave and how to be successful in that environment. The second one on my screen is on to the right there, is My Career Quest South. This is a great explanation of how you go from trying something, and you typically, and this year we're excited, it'll happen in April of 2022. Write the date down if you're in Southeast Michigan. We'd love to see you there. And April 2022, and I think it's April 22nd as well. But with that, it is an opportunity for the youth to try something. So whether it is climbing, pole climbing with Consumers Energy, whether it is some sort of trade skills and piping, learning about medical technologies, IT and cybersecurity, all these people will be there showcasing the in-demand jobs in our region and giving that opportunity to communicate with who's hiring and what they do, and actually trying it out. And they could try 15 different occupations all within one day. And if they like it, excellent. If they don't like it, excellent, because they can try something else. So it's really a win-win situation for both the students as well as the employers as they get to outreach and see who's out there and help fabricate that talent pipeline that is starting in the secondary education level and hopefully moving through into employment purposes. So those are the two big programs that have really taken over and have definitely been adapted with a virtual platform. And that was evolved from the pandemic. So,
one thing I would like to mention involved in both of these programs is that we start the individuals, the students, youth, working with businesses right away. For example, for my internship prep, the classes meet virtually Monday through Friday. Friday is a day where we actually virtually invite employers in to talk about what kinds of things they look for in a prospective employee. What kind of jobs do they have in their work environment? What does one have to do to be successful in their working environment? And students have the opportunity to, because it's a small group presentation, to actually have some conversation back and forth with the employers. So they begin to get more comfortable actually talking to someone about employment. They understand a little bit better what might be entailed in specific employment situations. With the Career Quest, we've also taken and kind of bumped that up a notch by actually providing to our region-wide educational institutions an availability for those individuals that, if they're using Zello, for example, for their career activities starting in 7th grade, if they have someone in 10th or 11th grade that wants to attend Career Quest and does not have a specific career interest in mind, we actually will go out to the school system, put them through our career assessment journey and or Career Quest, or Career Path, Career One Stop, and have students take the career assessment and help them refine their interest a little bit more and verify that interest by attending Career Quest. We also give them curriculum. We've created a landing page on our website for teachers to actually utilize in including career interest as part of the academic day. For example, if someone is interested in whatever occupation, we have them do local LMI investigation to find out what the going wage is in that particular area for that occupation, and then take and include that in a math class of budgeting. Or they have to write, maybe they have 3 career interests. We have the teachers have made an assignment to compare and contrast what's different about those 3 occupations. What are the pros, what are the cons? So that it's helping our educators gain a little more understanding of how they can more easily include that academic piece with their career interest.
Vincent, we have a question. I think this would be for you because you wrote it. Brooklyn asks, is there a particular curriculum that you utilized for the My Internship Prep courses, or was it created in-house?
Great question. So there is, and the curriculum was created in-house actually by myself. And along with ideas from Jobs for Michigan's graduates and their curriculum. So, it's not everything from scratch. I definitely did not reinvent the wheel by any means. As any educator would say, that's a waste of time. People have been teaching for hundreds and hundreds of years. So why, make something when there is something out there? But that doesn't mean we can't give it a little razzle dazzle. And so with that, that's exactly what we did. So we took some of the best elements out of career and workforce development classes that are designed for high school and gave them a little razzle dazzle, switched them over from being an in-person curriculum to something we could do virtually. And we adapted to Google Classroom as our learning management software as a win-win, because one, it's one of the most ubiquitous and anyone can use it. So we can use it as a professional organization as well as the youth. It's really simple for them to make a Google account and access it. Rather than having to go through another learning management software, which would require much bigger hurdles to overcome. And so with that, it's sort of all encompassing, where we can have a virtual world where we can meet virtually, create these relationships across all 5 of our counties. And the kids can learn and grow from that with meeting other youth as well as their local employers. So with it, if you're familiar with Jobs for Michigan's graduates, and if you have a youth advisor that works for you that has access to it, definitely tap their brain, because they have access to that curriculum as well, and they can adapt it to your needs. And there's more than enough in there for any type of environment, for any part of the states, and for any type of youth. It just has to be, curtailed towards them. So.
And Vincent's done an excellent job putting that forward. But the competencies that are part of Jobs for Michigan grads lie as the base of all of our youth programming, so that it makes it much easier for a participant to actually be duly enrolled in Jobs for Michigan grads, plus one of our other programs, or WIOA youth programs. My internship is actually a program that is out of the summer professional development funds. And so most of our students are WIOA eligible, and we have them duly enrolled. And that's something that's very important for us, because we want them to also start working immediately with our youth advisors and get comfortable with Michigan Works as a place to go and as a help in achieving their career and employment interests. So we, as part of my internship program, we also include the fact that once a week, for sure, they have to have an interaction with their career advisor to just have that opportunity to double check. Are they getting what their career focus is? Are they beginning to embrace what we're trying to put forward as career interests? And it becomes an integral part of the responsibility of the program. We're very, I don't want to say non-forgiving, but we're very cognizant as they go through my internship that we don't really allow for a lot of hedging on anything that they do. We kind of take a tough love stand. All of the classes are recorded, so that if for some reason someone is unable to attend a particular day of the class, they are still expected to get the work that has been created for that day completed, and it must be completed by the end of the week. They cannot go back after it's done. They have to pre-arrange their absence with the instructor. And again, it's a very, there isn't a lot of wiggle room. And we're trying to make sure that students understand as they move forward that, we have lots of, and we've gotten this from our employers. They're like, we don't understand. People think that if they've got 4 absences before they have to go to see the HR department, that they're going to take all 4 absences. Well, then their car dies and they get their 5th, and then they're fired, and they don't understand. So we're trying to take a tough love approach, but also have some way of coaching along the way before the ultimate bad thing happens. And we've been extremely successful. We've had 98% of all of our participants have completed the program successfully. So we consider that a win-win for us as well as a win-win for our employers. Under that same vein, for those individuals that are no longer in a K-12 system but have separated, maybe do not have their post-secondary, have not entered a post-secondary program or have not gotten their secondary credential, we have the Professional Achievement Scorecard, which is the PASS system, which is developed pretty much on the same system that we've used for the entire program for youth. They explore, they prepare, they engage, and they launch what they've put into practice. They put into practice everything that has led them to this particular point of careers. This is a way for someone to really have a set path to get to what they want to ultimately achieve in a career. We find too many times that they kind of flounder. They come into an adult education program and they sit there and they say, well, yeah, I've got to get my high school diploma, and think that that's the end. With this particular program, it's just the beginning. And they find out from day one, it's just the beginning. And we make sure that they understand throughout the entire process that the end goal is to receive a employment situation that makes them happy, that makes them content with what they're doing and engages them in a lifestyle that they wish to achieve.
We have a question from Brooke about how we recruit for the program and where do we find the youth. So I'll let Sandy maybe take that one.
Yeah, great question. We actually look at our WIOA already enrolled participants, right? The eligibility has already been verified. So that's where we go primarily, but we also get referrals, especially now that we've been doing this for a little bit. The word is out. A lot of the youth will refer some of their friends, teachers, employers. We now have employers contacting us because they want to be part of this Friday conversation with the youth. So really, we start with our WIOA because we want them dual enrolled, and it makes sense to do that. So that's primarily where we get them. And also find out where the youth are at, right? Through the events where the youth hang out, we go there, we try to recruit, we market. So I hope that answers the question. But we primarily look at WIOA. And if they come in youth, not in WIOA, maybe JMG first, then we look at enrolling them into WIOA. So again, for the dual enrollments.
And we also, for some of our JMG participants, we do have an in-school program, which is actually where Vincent is right now at Northwest. And we are actually expanding that program so that we include students that are desiring to participate from the 9th grade through 12th. So, and many of them, it's a case of word of mouth as well. They hear what we're doing and how we're doing it, and they want to be a part of it. We kind of treat JMG affiliation as kind of the honor society for job seekers and employment. We're trying to make it so that students understand this is something you have to work for, and you've made quite an accomplishment if you're involved. And Vincent, why don't you tell us a little bit more about Jobs for Michigan grads?
Absolutely. So Jobs for Michigan graduates, and I am one of the in-school advisors, as well as our moderator. He is also a teacher as well. And with it, we have in-school and out-of-school youth. And of course, they're in different settings, but they're all youth, and they're all needing the same essentially the same education. So we have at Michigan Works Southeast career advisors that reflect and focus on the students that are out of school setting, and then those of us that work in school K-12 systems. Currently, our JMG program runs through trimesters along with the school schedule, and we're going to cover all the competencies that's coming along. So we are talking about job survival skills, job attainment skills, everything that is sort of mentioned in my internship prep, and we've been hinting and speaking about. It's getting them, locating their interests, making sure they recognize it, and then how do they get it and then survive and keep it. So that's the JMG curriculum, and we can implement it throughout the whole line of 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, as well as you have the opportunity to start even younger. You could easily start at the middle school level with an instructor down there and really plant those seeds. So that way, when they do make it to high school, they even actually have more opportunities that are opening to them, such as early college access and starting dual enrollment programs that they have to decide upon, by the end of their freshman year. So by catching the students earlier, you're going to gain an advantage in terms of your recruitment, in terms of the skills acquisitions, and in terms of their own competencies and understanding of how to succeed in the real world and in the employees' work-life balance. So with the JMG curriculum, you also have a huge state support group. So not only do we have Michigan Works and our career advisors in that network system, but we also have Jobs for Michigan's graduates network system that provides curriculum that we have access to. It's like having a library card for teachers where you can just go in, be like, I think I want to talk about how to ask for a raise after a year, and you can find stuff and do exercises and things of that nature. Or go to the curriculum, like, how do I figure out stress management so I don't yell at the next guy that in the customer service job, right? And those are stuff that our students really, really need. It's very much a instant gratification society that we're in right now. So by dealing with these situations where they're thinking, going through the rationale, understanding their own thought process and how their personality types click with other people in different job environments, really makes them successful in the workplace. And so that's the JMG curriculum. So it's huge, it's great, it's fantastic, and you're not alone when you're in it, because you're going to be networked to hundreds of other teachers and advisors across the state of Michigan. And then even further, part of JAG system, JAG is Jobs for America's Graduates, which is located in nearly every state across our great union and has access on a national level. So you can reach out to other states and see what they're doing in Tennessee, what's happening in California. Especially look to those Eastern Coast and large urban centers, or in Chicago, and seeing like, I'm struggling in my area. What are they doing in Chicago that's so great? And how can I bring it to Jackson? How can I bring it to Grand Rapids? How can I implement this in Detroit? Or going and be like, what's going on in Tallahassee and or other parts, and incorporating it into our smaller cities. And so it really is a great system, and it's helped us create a all-encompassing youth education system that follows the same trajectory.
I think, having said that, that's really the thing that I feel the most, that I feel is the most important piece, because when our local employers are starting to recognize individuals that have gone through this program or that are coming from Michigan Works, they know that they have had this kind of background, no matter what program they may have been involved in, with this being our core under which we build the rest of our programming for youth and continue on with those individuals maybe after they leave youth programming. Our employers know what to expect of those individuals. They know that they've gotten a certain degree of proficiency in being an employee. And I think that's the strongest selling point It doesn't matter what county they're coming from. It doesn't matter exactly what program they're coming from within our 5-county area, but rather all the programs are predicated in the same base knowledge, and everyone is exposed to the same basic skill sets when it comes to employment. And we've taken almost like the support system for business resource networks, for those of you that have worked in that environment, but we take kind of the same approach, that we try to serve as that moderator, that in-between person between the employer and the youth, to make sure that they are successful in their employment situations. We have youth that are working in their first job, maybe with McDonald's or whatever, and we ask them to make sure that if there's an issue at work, they bring it into the class, or they bring it up to our instructors or their youth advisor to work out before it becomes a problem in the workplace. And I think that serves as the strength and the cohesive part behind all of this programming.
This question probably Vincent can answer the best, and it was prior to talking about the in-school program, and it's from Delinda. How many are in the program, and how long did you say it lasts?
Oh, how many are in the program and how long?
Yeah, how long the program lasts. So yeah.
Yeah. So in the program for our in-school, we have roughly about 50 some youth that are going through this curriculum. And it lasts it will last for 6 weeks and longer. And the reason why I say 6 weeks and longer is with our current school system, we have a very transitory population. We're an alternative education building. So a lot of our students will stay with us and move back to the high school, or move to a career center, or move to another organization, or graduate. And they come at all different levels. However, I know I at least have them for 6 weeks, and some I'll have all year or multiple years in a row. So that's the in-school setting. The out-of-school setting with my internship prep program is 4 weeks. However, with JMG and you're working with students, it can last multiple years as well. Say you get a student that dropped out of high school or didn't finish, and they're looking at getting their high school equivalency, but they enroll in our JMG program as well. They might be with us for 2, 3, 4 years as they earn their high school equivalency and even move on to post-secondary credentialing or education. But they can still stay in and learn all the competencies and then exit out as they get a job or start a new program and things of that nature. So it really is pretty flexible, which makes it easy to intake students at any level, whether they're teenagers or whether they're adults that are working on those first credentials and landing their first career job outside of Wendy's. So.
And even with the competencies, there's levels. So you may be introduced to a competency, so you're just beginning to understand that competency, or you may be gaining proficiency, which would be a middle stage, or there's mastery, where you're at the top of the hierarchy. You've totally mastered that, and you've demonstrated through your daily operation and through your interchanges that you have totally embraced that particular competency and are a true, you've internalized it. So even if you are reviewing some of the competencies that you've had before, it's refining that knowledge and being able to put it into practice. It's not just introducing something. We don't just say, here's the information, go do it. But we want to see it demonstrated on a repeated basis to make sure that it truly has been internalized by the individuals, and also to make sure that the youth have a total understanding of the importance and the value of that particular competency or skill set. Also, by having students refine their interest, it again allows the workforce development system to then be able to find opportunities to enhance their training through whether grant activities or special funding opportunities for some of the programs that we may have that come up in our specialized project bank that we always kind of delve into, like our state apprenticeship expansion grant, or maybe it's something like the My Leap program where it's short-term training that ends in a very lucrative credential. So by knowing what that career interest is early in the game, we can match them up with some additional training opportunities that are available later on down the road.
We have a question from Brooke, and this might be something you want to speak to as far as in school, maybe recovery credits or credits, and then out of school. But she wants to know if the JMG in-school program is marketed by the school as an after-school club.
Great. It can be. Currently, it is not, but there is no reason why it cannot be as well. So the hope for us actually here for Michigan Works Southeast is to transform it from not only an in-school, but to the after-school extracurricular program, such as FFA, 4-H, DECO, but et cetera, et cetera. So all those after-school clubs that students can get together. And that's what we want to have it as, like the professional development club. So it would be an organization that students can participate in. They have learning workshops with a career advisor so they can learn new skills, even though they're not in a classroom setting or they're not necessarily in a JMG class, but they still get exposure to skill sets and soft skills on how to be the best selves they can be and be successful in the workplace. Then sort of steamroll it on like a national honor roll society. So there's different tiers. So that way you could have your juniors and your seniors, or even recent graduates of the high school that are still in the area, be participants and assist the younger students and be their mentors. So you could definitely roll that in. But with the school, it is marketed by the school. So we have a positive relationship where we sort of handpick and interview our students on this student is going to be successful. Maybe they don't have any career direction, but we think it's in there. That we just need to plant the seed. So we're not just an outlet for the K-12 system to send us, the roughest and toughest students and earn an extracurricular credit hour. But instead, we're really looking to grab the student that maybe doesn't know where they're going to go because they haven't had that direction and that training yet. So that's sort of how we fit into the mold. So we get a lot of students that are falling through the cracks. Maybe they have a lower GPA, so they didn't make it into a career center. Maybe they just don't know what they're doing and have no interest, so they just don't sign up for stuff. So we're catching those students before they fall off the radar. And that's our plan, and we've been executing it now for at least 2 years, going on 3. And we're catching a lot of those youth that would have been forgotten or fallen through the holes of the netting. And now we're able to assist them, give them direction, and have positive outcomes with employment, post-secondary credentials, and the likes. So.
Awesome. Keep the questions coming. This is the last slide of our presentation. So we want to, just to recap, right? We've talked about the explore, engage, experience to get them the goal. And we took the goal and worked backwards. So it's more efficient by having programs not in silos, right? Not in isolation. We've combined all of the assets for all of our programs to meet the objectives, no matter their program enrollment. All are getting the high quality program to set them apart to reach their goals, which primarily is employment. So that is what I have. I don't know if there's any final comments from the rest of our panel, or if there's any more last minute questions going to come in. So I'd just like to say thank you to everybody that stayed firm for the whole almost hour. Great questions. So anything else from the group?
Sierra wants to know where she can get a copy of the PowerPoint, and is it going to be on our website? Would that be?
The PowerPoint will be available on the Michigan Works website, as will a whole presentation. So at the end of the conference, Michigan Works is going to be posting on their website all of the materials that are available, that were part of the conference.
And Kathleen wants to know where the program is located. And I guess, Vincent, so 5 counties, maybe you can name them.
Right. So yeah, the program encompasses 5 counties. So we're Michigan Works Southeast. We cover Hillsdale County, Livingston County, Lenawee County, Washtenaw County, and Jackson County. So that's our organization, and that's sort of where we spread out. We do have some relationship in terms of our adult education with Monroe County as well. And so currently, though, they have their own youth programming, and we're focusing on our 5 county spread. Our largest pool or focus for JMG, I would say, is Jackson County and around that Jackson-Hillsdale area, and spreading out as we have relationships with University of Michigan as well. And they do their own youth programming just for the summer, where we also assist them for the Summer Works program with U of M and Michigan Works Southeast, and that's Ypsilanti and Ann Arbor region. So,
I think I think the other point that needs to be made is it takes a commitment on behalf of the Michigan Works organization to our instructors that are involved with in-school programs are certified instructors. However, they are employed by Michigan Works. It kind of works well for us. Some of the school systems have been a little bit hesitant to try that, but in doing so, by using certified instructors, students are able to gain credit by participating in the program, and the person who oversees that particular program on behalf of the Michigan Works organization also is certified in educational leadership, so that we adhere to all of the guidelines that are required by the Department of Education.
Hey, Pam, can you put the last slide up in case they want to get a hold of us?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
There we are.
If anybody's like me, right, I get this information, I have to process it a little bit, and like, oh, I wish I had asked this question and this question. I'm just going to offer that you could reach out to any 3 of us, Pam, myself, or Vincent, through this email address. Contact us. We'll be happy to answer your questions. And I'm just going to do a plug for JMG, just working with them, having the support. It's an awesome program to have. So if there's any MWAs out there that don't have JMG, you might want to consider getting in touch with them to launch this program as well, so that you can have the curriculum that we've been talking about today.
And also JMG offers a lot of state activities statewide for some of the students that are participating in the program to participate in a statewide competition, as well as do some community service activities, and it's a tremendous opportunity for students all the way around.
I just wanted to mention that they've asked us to offer a survey for all of the different workshops, and I put it in the chat. It's under my name, Dave Thorpe, forms.office.com. That'll take you directly to the survey if you click on that link. And I certainly appreciate your time, and if anyone has any other questions, fire away. If not, I think we'll I think we're on our time here.
So you mean I can do the survey myself like 4 or 5 times just to increase the ratings? Just a
I would-
thought.
5 stars. 5 stars.
All right. Thank you, everyone. The ones on the panel and the audience. We really appreciate you today.
We appreciate you being here.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you all.
Bye. I'm out of here. Bye.
Oh, I was like, do we just leave too? I was just.
I was still reading the chat, so
Oh.
I was, yeah. I'll be over, Pam, in a minute.
All right.
Bye.
And
Bye,
I'll see you. I'll be in Hillsdale tomorrow, so I'll see you guys then as well.
All right. Thank
And
you.
Vincent, I'll see you in an hour at class.
That's right.
All right. Thanks.